Hello, mathematicians. It's Mrs. Post here. Today is Friday, April 24th, and we're going to continue working on solving radical equations. So here's what your assignment looks like for today. You're going to review my daily lesson, you're going to watch it, and what I'm about to do is to go over some of the problems from yesterday's classwork so we can review some of the more complicated problems and make sure you guys are okay before we move further. After that, I'm going to show you how to do the assignment today that I have scheduled for you in Nearpod. It is a matching solving radical equations assignment, and I'll show you guys how to do that in just a minute. But you can see that right here, there is a class code, and this is in Nearpod like we did the other day, but it just has one or two little pieces to it. It's a lot shorter because you've already been taught the lesson. You're just practicing it now. So you guys have a class code here, ELNKD. Make sure you log in with your first and last name so I can see how you're doing. And you're welcome to go to nearpod.com, or you can just click on the link down here and it will direct you there. Either way. But before we go into Nearpod, the first thing I want to do is review your work from Thursday, because I know you might have some questions about it. So here is the assignment that you guys had for Thursday. I just wrote the answers on here. You're welcome to pause it and write them down. These are all the solutions to the equation. So they're either like x equals or p equals. Like number 1 is x equals 64. Number 3, you guys could write this as a decimal, and this is p, so it'd be p equals 49 halves, or 49 over 2, or you guys can divide 49 divided by 2 and you guys would get a decimal here. And that's fine too, and I think probably some of you did. Like if you look at 13, that was a decimal, 7 over 4. 15 was 41 over 2. Let me just double check that. Oh, I don't think that, yeah, that's right. And then like, for example, 21, some of you guys might have simplified it down to 7 over 2. You may not have. You might have left it as 14 over 4. That's fine. Or you might have divided and left it as a decimal. That's fine too. All right, there's a couple of these that have no solution. Like if you look for number 10, I'm going to go over number 10 in a minute. Number 22, they say no solution. And hopefully you guys remember that no solution means that when you check it, you plug it back in, it gives you a false statement. The variables will cancel and you'll get some kind of false statement like 6 equals 2 or something that's not true. And so you just have no solution because your variables canceled out, and you get a false statement. So it's okay to get 2 equals 2 or 5 equals 5. That's fine because it's true, but it's not okay to get a false statement. Okay, that's how you know you're doing something a little bit not right. All right, so we're going to go over just a few of these. I'm going to start with number 4. Number 4 was just a regular square root. Looks like you were solving for for h for number 4. So your answer is supposed to be h is equal to 1 over 12. And if you would have divided that and gotten a decimal, that's fine too. So let's go ahead and look at how to solve number 4. All right, so number 4 is just a regular square root because there's no index in here that you can see, so it's automatically just 2. But remember, you would look at it like, I'm going to write this over to the side, you would look at it like it's 4h minus 2 equals 0. You would look at it like it's just a regular linear equation. You can look at the radical like it's your variable, like it's just x or h or something. And of course, if you saw something like this, you guys would want to add 2 to both sides. So you would want to do the same thing over here. And remember, your goal is just to isolate your variable like always. You're always trying to get down to just h. So when you add 2 to both sides, those are going to cancel, and you're going to get something like 4 times the square root of 3h is equal to 2. All right, now what do you guys do? Now you guys are going to divide both sides by 4, right? Because that's what you would do over here. You would have 4h equals 2. And you would divide both sides by 4. Oops, 4. Okay, same process here. And you would get h is equal to 2/4 if this was actually a problem we were solving. So I just want you guys to be thinking, don't overcomplicate it. Just be thinking, okay, this is something that I've done before. Just have this extra little piece to it. Okay, so anyway, when you guys are dividing both sides by 4, you guys should see that the right side is 2/4. It's 2 divided by 4. Which you guys can leave it as 2/4 or you can simplify it. And honestly, I'm just going to simplify it because I like my number smaller. When you divide by 4, the 4s are going to cancel and you're just going to be left with the square root of 3h over here. So yes, you did isolate your radical now. Right now your radical is isolated. And so you have the square root of 3h is equal to 1/2. You're not done, you haven't solved for h. But how do you get rid of the radical? Well, remember you square it, right? Because it's a square root. If it was a cube root or whatever, you would cube it. But we're going to square both sides. All right, when you do that, that brings you down to just a single 3h. And this 1/2 squared is really 1/2 times 1/2. You guys can put that in on your calculator, but when I multiply 1/2 times 1/2, I get 1/4. Because I know I multiply top to top, bottom to bottom. And if your calculator gives you a decimal, that's fine too. And then how do you solve this? You divide both sides by 3. Those are going to cancel it, and you're going to get h is equal to 1/4 divided by 3. We're just going to write this over here. 1/4 divided by 3. And remember, dividing fractions, you just keep the first one, you flip the second one, so that becomes 1/3, and you'll end up with 1/12. So h is equal to 1/12. And look at that. That's the answer. H is equal to 1/12. And if you would have used your calculator and it didn't give you fractions, it gave you decimals, I think it was like 0.083. That's fine. When you plug it back in, it should still work out and it would become a true statement. Okay, so that one is fine. Actually, I can actually show you that one really quick if you want. Do I have space down here? I think so. I'm just going to erase a little bit of things so I have a little bit of room. All right, I just want to show you really quick how to check that problem. I'm going to erase 10 and we'll do 10 in a minute because I do still want to go over 10. But let me just erase this. I just want you guys to have room. I don't want to over complicate anything. Okay, which is probably too late for that, right? Okay. Now, if I check it, that means we're going to plug in that h is equal to 1/12 into the original, right? So we're just going to plug that into the original right here and just make sure it gives us a true statement. And it does. This one actually doesn't work out. It's not too bad. So it's 4 times, I'm just going to put a little note. Let's check it. Let's check it. So 4 times 3 times h, and our h is 1/12. Minus 2 is equal to 0. So I'm just going to simplify it like regular order of operations. So we'll have 4 times, what's inside here? 3 times 1/12. That should give us 3/12. You could simplify that. Minus 2 equals 0. And so we're almost done here. You guys can go ahead and take this, let's see, 4 times. I just used my calculator on this one. And so you guys could simplify the 3/12 to 1/4 if you want. You don't have to. I'm just going to leave it because you're just going to use your calculator anyway. So I'm just going to do 1 divided by 4, or I guess you guys are going to do 3 divided by 12. That's 0.25. You're going to take the square root of that, which is 1/2. So it would be 4 times, what did I say? 3 divided by 12 is 1/4, and then take the square root of that, which should give you 4 times 1/2 minus 2 equals 0. So 4 times 1/2 should give you 4. You can multiply that times 4. Should give you 2. 2 minus 2 is equal to 0. 2 minus 2 is 0 equals 0. So that works out well. Yes. So anyway, right here, I'm so sorry, you could have left that as 3/12, or you could have simplified it to 1/4, which is what I get on my calculator. And you guys should know that 1/4 is like 0.25. And if you left it as a decimal, it comes out to, you just have to be careful with the rounding. I'd go ahead and round that. It probably would be easier. But even if you did it as a decimal, it would still come out okay. But just always make sure you check it and make sure that you get a true statement, okay? Even with the fractions, it's a little bit messy. You guys can use decimals, or you can use your calculator. And I was just using my the calculator on my phone. So it's there. It's handy. I know. We're home. So it's fine to do that, okay? All right, so if you have any questions, just let me know, but just use your calculator. Don't overthink it. At this point, if you're not comfortable with fractions, you're just going to have to use your calculator because it's definitely something that was years and years and years ago. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out number 10. I'll go ahead and put that one over here. This one says no solution, so I just want to remind you what that one looks like. So if it's no solution, what is number 10? Looks like it is the fourth root. So it's a fourth root, that's why I wanted to show you this one, of y minus 9. And then plus 4 equals 0. It's kind of connecting to my other one. All right, so that's number 10. Just want to remind you guys, remember you have y minus 9 underneath the radical, and that's your variable. Your radical is kind of, it's like your variable. So you're going to move everything else away. So you're going to keep the the fourth root of y minus 9, but you're going to subtract 4 on both sides. So the right side's going to have a minus 4, right? And how do we get rid of a fourth root of something? Well, we're going to take the fourth power of it. We're going to bring it to the power of 4, and don't forget to do that to both sides. So when you do that, all this is going to cancel, and you're going to end up with just 1 y minus 9. So it's not like you're calculating anything there, you're just following the rules of algebra. And then negative 4, if you're not sure, just use your calculator. So we've got 4 negative, and we need to bring that to the power of 4. Should give you 256 right here. And then whenever I do that, I get, we're going to add 9, right? So y is equal to 256 plus 9. It's going to give me 265. All right, so here we go. So we have y equals 265 whenever I added 9 to both sides, and that's fine, but just go back and plug it back into the original and check it and just make sure. So when we do that, you should get the fourth root of y minus 9, which your y is now 265, minus 9, and then don't forget it's plus 4, and this whole thing equals 0. So you can go ahead and just subtract 9, so that was what, 265 minus 9 should give you 256. And then you have plus 4, don't forget, equals 0. So 256, I'm going to use my calculator. I'm going to do the fourth root of that, which gives me 4. So that is 4. But 4 plus 4 does not equal 0. That's 8. And 8 does not equal 0. So if you guys would have worked this one out, you would have gotten something like this. Okay, so that's why that is no solution, because it makes a false statement. Okay, so now that was a little bit messy, but those are the more complicated ones, I guess. They really weren't too bad, but I actually really enjoyed working through these. I worked through them all. Just wanted to show you that I did work through them all earlier, and it was kind of fun for me. I don't know, I like solving equations, so because there's an answer always. When you check it, you can always make sure. Now you guys have the answer, so if you weren't sure how to do it on Thursday, go back through and then check these, and you guys are welcome to what was I gonna say? Pause the video and check your answers. All right, the only other one I want to go over with you guys is 30. 29 looks funky, but it's not. Just funky symbols, but the process was really, really quick. I'm going to go over 30 with you really quick, and it's the last thing we're going to do. So it's telling you she drops a ball from 25 feet above a lake. Here is your formula, and it describes the time t in seconds that the ball is h feet above the water. How many feet? So we don't know the feet. We don't know this. Above the water will the ball be after 1 second? So we have the time. We have the time. It's equal to 1 second, and the time is over here. So that is equal to 1. So you just plug in what they give you, and you solve for the variable that you don't have. That's all you do. That's basically any of these word problems. So we know our t is 1. So 1 equals the 1/4 times the square root of 25 minus h. Just follow the rules like we've been doing this whole entire time. So we're just going to solve for h. We have a 1/4 in front. You want to get rid of that because you're trying to get your radical all by itself. So remember, in order to get rid of that, you're just going to, just like a coefficient, you would just divide both sides by the number in the front. And so whenever you do that, those are going to cancel. You know, your right side is going to be the square root of 25 minus h. I'm going to simplify out really quick because you're just going to square both sides. So if you have 1 divided by 1/4, which is what, 0.25. It's just going to give you 4. And you can remember just fraction rules, 1 divided by 1/4. It's going to flip 1 times 4 over 1. Remember, keep flip change, and that's just going to give you 4. So you have 4 equals the square root of 25 minus h. Just going to move it over here. And remember, the next step is you got to square everything because it's a square root. So that 4 now becomes 16. And our square root simplifies to just 25 minus h. Solve for h. Subtract 25 on both sides. And you guys are going to get -9 equals -h. But you don't want to know what negative h is. You want to know what positive h is. So you can divide everything by -1 and you get 9. So the answer was, how many feet above the water will the ball be after 1 second? It will be 9 feet above the water. So there you go. There's a word problem. And the one above it was really quick too. You guys could try that one. You get 225. Anyway, so here are the problems for you guys to check and to work on. If you need anything else, just let me know. I just want to show you real quick how to get through that Nearpod assignment. Let's see. I'm just going to click on the link right here. I'm just going to go back to your team's assignment. So that's Nearpod. I'm going to go right to it. And I just put some problems in here for you guys to work on. And make sure you put your first and last name so I can see how you guys are doing. It's kind of cool. I can check your work pretty quick. This is your assignment. I went ahead and made it like a matching assignment. So you have problems and you have solutions. And you guys are just going to like match them up. And you can pick, okay, I think this one is 5. Not a match. Okay, so what I would do is I would just take out a sheet of notebook paper and I would just work out the problems and try to find the matches, and they're all here, and there's a couple that are no solution. But I just want to make a quick note that what I did do, if you see the square roots, or this is the only one I think that is a cube root, it's 4 times the cube root of 2x plus 11 minus 2 equals 10. But anyway, if you see any of these with parentheses, it's just because those weird symbols on line don't make the radical symbol go all the way. They just like make them like really short. So I just figured, let me just put them inside parentheses so you would know that that whole thing is underneath the radical. So I thought that would make the most sense. But I would just work these out on notebook paper. I got these from the study guide. Your green workbook problem, these are the green workbook problems. So those are the answers. They're all up here. So just work through these. Whenever you finish, you guys are going to go to the last page. And this is just a poll. I just want to know how long it takes you. Is it taking you about 15-20 minutes to solve these? Just give me an estimate about how long it takes for you guys to work through these. I know I've done this forever, but I got through these problems pretty quick. They're only like a couple of steps once you get the hang of it. So they actually go pretty quick once you start getting the hang of it. But if you have questions, let me know. I'll be here from 10 to 12 or 2 to 4 today, Friday. And Friday I start grading things. So just be on the lookout. I'll be putting some grades in and things like that today and then over the weekend. So anyway, hope you guys have a fabulous day. Don't forget to turn in your attendance. And once you finish the Nearpod, click turn in for your assignment in Teams as well. All right, let me know if you have any questions. And thank you for watching the video. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.